Go back to your first part about the MGT. Now there are women who, when they hear that, they kind of resent that in this modern day. They because they have not been enlightened. They only hear what you say, but the root of it they may not understand.
Yes.
The woman's first base is in the home, and when you say Muslim girl training, the woman say, "Well, I'm not a girl. I'm a grown woman." See, so here's the yin and the yang of that, and they struggle against that. When you say how to sew, cook, and so forth, they say, well, women are good for other things. But the way that's answered, that there's a base. Of course, we got brilliant women.
That's
We
right.
got women who are politicians, lawyers, engineers,
That's right.
doctors, you name it. And women are qualified to do most things in the world today that runs the world.
That's right.
So women feel that, especially in Islam, they feel that the women have been subjected under us, and the man is out front and we push her behind. But the 75% of the work is the woman.
That's right.
You can't build a world or a society without the woman. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave it to us. I never heard it from him, but I did hear it from Minister Farrakhan. When you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a family. And the family rests on the shoulder of a woman. And being that our slave experience, it was our women who did a lot of protection for us. It's our women who held the family together. It's our women who pushed us forward when we were unsure of ourselves. It was our women. So women, and what the enemy likes to do is say that those are Muslims. She got to walk 5 paces behind. They can have 4 wives. I mean, just look at when they went in supposedly and killed bin Laden. Look how they used his wife and the lies that they
Right.
told.
That's
And I
exactly
want to
right.
segue into what you were talking about, the press. When the minister hammers at the press, and he said that the press is Zionist controlled and influenced, the minister is on point because they use the press to get their point of view out. And most people who pick up an article and read it, the first thing they do, they believe it. Just like when they picked up an article about me in Guyana, people who don't know Akbar Muhammad, they pick it up and they say, Akbar Muhammad, a Muslim, and terrorism and drugs, probably true,
Wow.
and put it down. So this is where our struggle is at. Our struggle is to get over a message to our people and to teach our people that you got to have a self-interest, to make sure that the balance between women and men is there, and to show that we have civilized behavior when it comes to our women, and that our women have to be there equally with us in order to
Right.
accomplish. The second part of your question, there are many brothers who have Muslim names. One thing that Bill Cosby was attacked for when he talked about names like Lakeisha and Muhammad, he threw Muhammad in there. But Bill Cosby, who was a knowledgeable person, was really saying that a lot of us wear Muhammad or wear Hakeem or wear Khalid, but we don't live up to what the name represents. My name, Abdul Akbar Muhammad, that Minister Farrakhan gave me in 1983, it means the first Abdul, Abdel, Abdur means the servant of. This is why sometimes in the Arab world where black people who are Muslims don't like the term when the Arabs say ab, like Abdul, meaning slave. But Abdul means the slave of the servant of God. Abdul Aziz. Aziz is the mighty or the great. So he's the servant of one of those attributes. Mine is Abdul Akbar. I'm not Akbar. I'm the servant of Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So I'm the servant, okay? And Muhammad is one worthy of praise. Now, if you wear the name, it means that you have something to live up to. That's why when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad started his work, don't forget when the Savior started in Detroit, he gave out 25,000 Muslim names in Detroit.
That's right.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as he began to build a nation, he started with X's. Because the X is the unknown. Because our real family name was unknown. Because those were the names given to us by the slave master, Brown, Johnson, Jones, Smith. All of those were the owners of the plantation. And when we were so-called freed, and we only had a first name, my name was Buck. My name was Big Jim. So we had to have a surname. So the surname we took was the plantation that we were on. So when we became a Muslim, as Malcolm X his last name was Little, his father's name, but he became known as Malcolm X. And then when he ascended to a certain level, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad felt that your work now is worthy of you receiving, as we called in the early days, a holy name. It's a good term, because if you get a name that represents a holy name, then you need to act and try to strive to be holy or to be better. Right. And let the name that you have represent your character. We got too many brothers in jail that got Hassan and got Rakim and this and that, or got all of these Muslim names. But I got to find out, is your action living up to the name that your mother and father gave you, if it's a Muslim name? And if you can't live up to that, it's better for you to be called something else, Johnny Smith or something, right, or whatever you want, but not carry that name. So I just wanted to mention that. But the last part of this I want to go back to, we only have a few minutes on the line, is the importance of communications. You said about reading newspapers. Now, many people in this day of the internet, the miracle of the internet, means that there's no need for ignorance. Just like we're talking about Guyana, Guyana. So somebody goes home and they say, what about Akbar was talking about this country, Guyana? You can go into your internet. There's a one called Ask, or you can Google, and you can pull it up. You can read the history of Guyana. So when somebody's talking on Guyana, in today's paper, today's New York Times, there's a story in there about 279 migrants from Libya. These are workers. Mostly all of them were Africans. And they were on a boat trying to escape Tripoli. The boat left trying to sail to Italy, or an island off the coast of Italy, and the boat hit a rock. 279 people were killed. You wouldn't know anything about it. But now, if America is bombing Libya, saying that we're trying to save civilians, the bombing is causing all of these workers. They knew this in advance. Libya had over 1.5 million, maybe 2 million workers in Libya. There were 30,000 Chinese that had to be evacuated, thousands of people. Now these same civilians are being killed trying to escape the bombing of Tripoli. This boat left from Tripoli. And I'm saying that to say that if you didn't read the newspaper, you'd have no knowledge of it. Right. Those who are behind the bombing of Tripoli and causing the death of these civilians are the ones that need to be tried in The Hague, and not Muammar Gaddafi, that they say we've got to get rid of him and kill him because he's killing his own people. So you turn around and start killing the people. But if you don't read the press, if you're not in the newspaper, what's happening in Syria, what's happening in Yemen, it is rocking the entire world. But you sit back and you don't look at it. You got to at least turn on the news. Go to your internet. Pick up a newspaper every now and then. You don't have to read every article in it, but go through it. When the brothers are out selling the Final Call, the unique part about the Final Call is that it is the only national black newspaper in America. And people say, well, people are not reading newspapers. The masses of the people who don't have computers, don't have access to the computer, and don't go online to read their news every day, they still like to feel and to hold a newspaper. And so when the Final Call is being sold in the streets of America, especially in our neighborhoods, right, then it gives our people a chance to see what's happening across America. Not only to get the news, but to get a spiritual message such as God's healing power. Excellent article by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So there's the spiritual message, and then there's the hard news of what's happening across America and what is happening throughout the world. If you said that we know every square inch of the planet, this planet belongs to the black man. We say this.
Yes, sir.
But if you don't know what's going on the planet that you say you own, then there's some inconsistencies there. Right. But if it's your planet, and I say to you, the country of South Africa, you should go to a map and point to it. If don't be like Sarah Palin, she's on a bus tour right now. And they say that she's on the bus tour so she can learn the name of the states. She may be confused about all of the states. So, but we have to know what is happening in our world. So what you brought up about the newspaper is excellent. So we have to continue to stay on the airwaves. We have to talk to our people. Sometimes talk radio is our daily news. We go into work, we work in 2 jobs, so we got to turn the radio instead of turning on just music in the morning, music, turn on some news and see what's happening in the world while you're spending an hour in that traffic driving to work. Listen to the black talk shows so you'll know what's happening in the black world that we live in, but you got to be up to date on it, and you have to pass that down to your children. Otherwise, your children will always turn on the music, whether it's Latin music, gospel music, hip hop music, and that's all they'll listen to, and the world will go by.
Thank you so much, brother. We're going to be wrapping up. I just want to say that I'm humbled by the fact that you not only would have an opportunity to, I don't know all of the cities that you've been to, but the minister said that, Memphis may be the gateway to the South, but this is the capital of the South. And so does Atlanta go. It's a trend-setting city, and Georgia being a trend-setting state, so does the nation. And so what happens here affects everything going on around the country. When I moved here, I'm originally from Chicago. And when I moved here, I noticed that everybody that I talked to, 75% of the people that are here weren't born here. But they're also connected to several or 10 other states. And so my analogy on that is that our people made a great migration from the South to the North to move into a different level of human rights and as well as economics. But now the children are born to, whether they know it or not, we have a calling on us to fulfill that part of which they started, because it wasn't for the parents to go and for everybody to just be up north, just to be hanging out or to do whatever. It's for the children to come back and to get with those who are from the South and to help the South to get where it's supposed to go, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that when the South rise, is all over with. That's why I'm here. I moved here in 93, and by coming here, being under several of the sisters that are here that know my history, and several of the brothers that I've worked with from around the country, I've been under the leadership of Minister Abdul Sharif for almost 17 years, and Minister Farrakhan directly for 20, from being in the Nation of Islam. I'm a baby. But I recognize from studying, because the messenger said that his followers would be wiser than Solomon, the least of his. And so I recognize from studying that aspect of the history that because I heard about the teaching in Chicago, but I came to Atlanta, it wasn't time for me to come down here and just forget about what I had put on me. And so with that, I want to say, for those who are tuning in and catching the last part of what we have going on, our brother's going to be talking this evening at 8 p.m. at Muhammad Mosque 15, which we're located at 3642 Campbellton Road, Southwest. That's in Atlanta, Georgia. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Brother Akbar Muhammad on his ordeal in Ghana and South America. He is the international representative for the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan. If you would like to get a copy of any of the DVDs that are in reference to Minister Farrakhan's lectures, any DVDs or books that deal directly with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we do have a bookstore here, by Allah's permission, that is a storehouse of knowledge, called Respect for Life Bookstore, which is at 1801 Delow Drive. We also have next door to it Blue Seas Express, fish, wings, and things. I'm thinking about some fish and some wings right now, my brother. Where you can also get the home of that supreme bean pie. Go by, support your brothers and your sisters here. If you're in the southern region in Atlanta, Georgia, we're on the corner of Delow and Campbellton Road in Atlanta. And of course, brother, before we leave, I had to break the mold. We've had many people on, and there are some people who their information is in the mail, but I wanted to present you on behalf of the station here with a small token. The Holy Quran says that when you enter into a man's house, you should salute him and her and bring them offering good news, meaning that you don't bring anything bad to their home because you're entering into their home. Well, the Quran also talks about the wayfarer, that we're obligated, that when a man is on a mission from God, to oblige him in every way possible to not only make his travel easy, but to give him that which he'll need to make his stay as much more to the desire that God will have, so he can fulfill whatever his role is. And so I thank you on behalf of the station. I thank you on behalf of the regional staff here. I thank you on behalf of my family direct for standing up. You know, Brother Sharif always talked to us as men about us facing opposition, being wise, but at the same time standing up as a man. And I recognize that when I look at you, from watching you over the years, from listening to you, from hearing your travels, from hearing and being a part of some of the great auctions that we would have with some of the stuff that you would bring from Africa, I'm looking at somebody that I admire. But as Minister Farrakhan mentioned, you looking at a different side of Brother Akbar, and we thank Allah for that, because we're all growing. But I know that you're a soldier, and I came to the nation because of the discipline. That's what I wanted in my life, is more discipline, and I thank Allah. So the award says, Brother Abdul Akbar Muhammad, International Student Minister of the Nation of Islam, in appreciation for your years of dedicated service for an outstanding accomplishments, the Farrakhan Hour and the entire staff of WAEN.TV and WAIN.TV would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation. We desire to continue to hear from you and while you're on your travels throughout the world, and want you to bless us with the opportunity to serve you in your cause, which is the resurrection of the dead, which is to help Allah's servant, Minister Farrakhan. Please accept for value this small token of your odyssey of years of tireless work under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We know he is alive physically, and we see him in you. May Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, continue to bless us and continue to help us in the war that we're in against peace. We're with you, and you are welcome to call in or visit us whenever you desire. Now the world knows that a man from Sandersville, Georgia, has followers that are fearless and are striving right now, and the world knows that Farrakhan is the one. He is the door, and we are his helpers. This station, this city, and this hour is bearing witness that Allah's words are true, and that if Allah is for you, that none will have power against you, and we are the overcomers. So I would like to present you this on behalf of the staff here. And if there's anything that you would like to say in closing out, again, I would like to say, brothers and sisters, please, for those who are watching, for those who will see this, because this show will be broadcast again live at 1 p.m. It'll be put on archive demand, where you can go online to WAEN or WAIN.TV and pull it up. Just put in the keywords, the Farrakhan Hour, the voice of the people. Or you can go to YouTube within several days and actually put in the words, the Farrakhan Hour, and you can see this show on archive. Brother, please give us some closing remarks and we'll sign off.
Well, first of all, again, I want to thank Allah for blessing me to be here. And as always, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for his work. And I was inspired by his words the other night, talking to the Muslim community that God has him over. I want to thank Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad,
yes,
our regional minister in the South. And you're right, there's a book called The Warmth of Other Suns. It's about the Great Migration, written by a sister after about 12 years, 10 to 12 years research. It is an excellent book. She took the title of the book from one of the poems written by Richard Wright. Her name may be Abbott. I'm sorry, I don't have her name. But if you go to any bookstore, and it will talk about the South and now what is happening with the reverse of people coming to the South. And it has made a difference. And it's the key to us taking over states in the South. So I want to thank you very much. And whenever I'm in Atlanta, if the time permits, I'll be happy to come back on your show and share with you. Thank you.
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Well, family, thank you all for tuning in to the Farrakhan Hour. You can get our regularly scheduled broadcast show from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're broadcast live here out of East Point, Georgia. You have just heard direct from the mouth of the source of the international representative of Minister Farrakhan. However, if you'd like to get more information for those who are watching this live, that you can come to Muhammad Mosque number 15 at 3642 Campbellton Road tonight at 8 p.m. to hear our brother. And please come with a pen and pad because I always leave with more information that I came with anytime I go to the mosque. But because our brother's in town, I know I have to bring 2 notebooks. So with that, I would like to leave you all as I came to you all, and signing off on behalf of the Nation of Islam and Minister Farrakhan, the Farrakhan Hour, and those at WAIN and WAN TV, in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.